What's goody? Hey man, I'm sorry, bro. We had to push back that video where it was like one thing I learned about every single team because I have to talk about another team. And tomorrow we're doing my NFL picks and predictions and everything like that because tomorrow's Thursday. So today, but there was just one thing that I had to talk about, and it's a team that I've been watching since the first game of the season, but after just the start that they've had to the season, they don't play another game till Halloween. Had to kind of talk about them before they go into that Halloween game, especially with the undefeated start that they've had. It is the Philadelphia 76ers, man. As things stand right now, they are 4-0, the number one seed out east, and what they have done to start the season has just been extremely impressive to me. And that all started opening night, where Tyrese Maxey goes off for 40 points, and then VJ Edgecombe goes off for like 35 and has like the best and highest scoring rookie debut, I think, like almost of all time. I think like two other people or maybe one other person scored more than him in a rookie debut. Absolutely phenomenal game for both of those guys. And just since that moment, the team has been on a tear. Again, they're 4-0, so it's a small sample size, but they're averaging 126 points per game, which is fifth in the NBA. And Maxey looks like he's damn near the MVP. He's averaging 38, 4, and 8. And if it wasn't for a guy named Victor Wembanyama, he might be the MVP right now. And then you got VJ Edgecombe sharing the backcourt with him, who's trying to run away with Rookie of the Year. He's averaging 25, 6, and 6, and this is a guy that I think everybody, or at least most people, thought was going to be a very good player. But for him to come out and to be doing this while they don't even have Jared McCain there, while they don't even have Joel Embiid there, while this just isn't a phenomenal roster, Paul George still hasn't played, this isn't the best roster with the injuries that they have right now. For these guys to be doing all that, and then you've got Oubre and Grimes, who are also chipping in, doing their parts offensively, both averaging like 16 and 18 points per game. It's just phenomenal, and it's extremely impressive. And as a guy who was very, very low on the 76ers, I was down and out on the 76ers, and telling them to rebuild. Obviously, now I want them to keep going into that rebuild, but it's looking like it's not going to be a rebuild. With the young guys they have now, it's like they skipped the rebuild because this team is still solid. This team is still going to be, at the very minimum, like a play-in, playoff contending team, just the way they look right now, if just these guys can stay healthy. But the bad thing about this team looking so good is that it just raises a ton of questions for, I guess, like the future of this team and the roster construction, because there's three big questions that I think you have to ask here. The first one is obviously, what do you do with Embiid? First of all, does he even have real value if you were to try to trade him right now? Because he's only played 3 games. He's averaging about 20 minutes, which is about the same as Klay Thompson, who we talked about yesterday in the Mavs video. If you did not watch that, go watch it. I slandered the Mavs in a full 10-minute video yesterday. And then he's okay in those 20 minutes. He's averaging 16, 5, and 3, which is like good numbers for 20 minutes, but he's just inefficient, shooting 45% from the field. And if you're watching these games, you know that he's very obviously not healthy. He's not running hard most of the time. He's almost never jumping. It's just very obvious that this is not the MVP healthy Joel Embiid, where he's averaging more points than minutes and just having one of the most dominant offensive scoring seasons from a center since literally Shaquille O'Neal. Second question, to me, what do you do with Paul George? He hasn't played this year either, or well, not either, because Joel Embiid has obviously played. He's played in 3 games. But what do you do with PG? He hasn't played this year, and he's coming off easily the worst year of his career last year. He's 35 with a history of major injuries, especially in his lower body. He's making $51 million a year, and then next year I believe that goes up to 54, and then 56 after that. And I think we're at the point now where, if it wasn't for this contract not having a no-trade clause, people would be talking about it as on par with Bradley Beal's contract in terms of bad. Because one thing you can say about Bradley Beal, at least he was going to be on the court giving you his 15 points per game every single night. Most nights he was going to be on that court giving you his 15 points per game if he wasn't dealing with some injury you knew before you traded for him. But with PG, it's like, last year he wasn't even giving you what you wanted him to give you, and it's like when he was giving you those 16 points per game, which is what I think he averaged last year, it was inefficient. He was averaging a bunch of turnovers. He wasn't playing a bunch of games. He's on doing more podcast episodes or has more podcast clips uploaded than games played halfway through the season. And then he's talking about podcast P. We're trying to focus on the playoffs. I'm going to take a break, and then a week later he's injured and they're eliminated from playoff contention. He's back on the podcast. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you could argue this is Bradley Beal levels of contract. This is Bradley Beal contract levels of bad. But like I said, they better thank God they didn't have no trade clause in there like the Washington Wizards did. Third and final question for me that I think them being this good raises is, what do you do with Quentin Grimes? Because I don't think Quentin Grimes fits right now. And I also think that no matter what, even if he did fit, you would lose him in the offseason, because you would lose him in the offseason for nothing, because you weren't willing to pay him and you weren't willing to go get a deal done this offseason, which the way you're looking right now with these guys, it's obvious that you probably didn't need to pay Quentin Grimes. You probably made the right decision by not paying him. But are you willing to lose him for free in the offseason? Because I'm not sure when Quentin Grimes is eligible to be traded, if he's even eligible this season. But if he is, I think you got to try to get off of Quentin Grimes ASAP. because you got to do it while his value is the highest, because you don't need him, and I think you've got to be able to get something in there, especially if you are thinking about trading a Paul George or Joel Embiid. You might want to try to start building that team by getting a solid first trade off with the Quentin Grimes trade, and using Quentin Grimes in one of those trades, maybe doing something like that. But then also, it's like I said, I also just don't think he fits here. I think, in my opinion, out of their four guards, him, Maxey, VJ, and McCain, I think he's the worst of the four. But he's still a good player. I think his value is good, and I think you would be able to get some good things for him out if you were going to trade him, especially considering the fact that he's not making too much money. You could probably get some picks or something for Quentin Grimes, which, the way the picks have been looking, I don't even know how valuable that is unless you're getting a lottery pick, but still. But yeah, I believe the best course of action is to trade Grimes ASAP, and then to try to trade out of Embiid for whatever the best package is. And I think you do that even if the package is going to be a little underwhelming to the fans. Because I think you just kind of want to get out from underneath the Joel Embiid drama and focus on the future that has this team looking way more fun right now than it has in years. Because I think this team easily looks more fun right now than it has since like the Ben Simmons, or since like the Ben Simmons, Jimmy Butler team, or since maybe James Harden was there. And like, obviously you could say, oh, you're not sure how real this run is, considering the fact they haven't played like a really good team. And when I say really good, I don't mean like the Wizards or Hornets, who have looked fun and looked solid this year, but I mean like a real playoff team. And also, we do have to recognize it's taken Herculean efforts from Maxey and VJ for them to even get to this point of winning against these bad teams, but I don't really care. This is one of the most fun teams in ball right now, and as a guy that loves basketball, all I care about is watching fun basketball teams and watching fun basketball players, and Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, and the Philadelphia 76ers are that right now. My daughter just woke up and she's screaming, so I love it. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for watching as always. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and please do not forget to tell a friend to tell a friend. Keep God first as always, all right? Gotta go take care of my daughter. Peace out.